Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners threatened to expose politicians and traditional leaders involved in illegal mining.
Also tonight, coalition of concerned teachers gives government up to October 31 to pay its members their salary arrears or face industrial action.
Also ahead this evening, second Deputy Speaker of Parliament and NDC flag-bearer aspirant Alban Backman says his comments against persons with disability were misconstrued, although he takes full responsibility for them.
And the former Trade and Industry Minister and NDC flag-bearer hopeful Eko Spio Gabra says the corrupt and incompetent tag on former President John Mahama would affect the party's chances if he is elected presidential candidate for the 2020 general elections.
On the international front this evening, UK Prime Minister Theresa May announces plans to boost Britain's investment in Africa after Brexit.
We'll bring you details of these and more together with some news in the world of sports and entertainment tonight here on News360. We're live on TV3 Ghana, on Facebook, all across the world, also on 3news.com and DSTV channel 279. Let's get interactive on the various social media platforms. Our first story this evening, the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners has sent a strong warning to politicians, traditional leaders and others they refer to as strong people in society to stay off illegal mining, vowing to expose anybody who violates the mining laws. At a media briefing here in Accra, the association indicated it will now show leadership by self-regulating the small-scale mining industry.
General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners, Godwin Ama, who briefed the media, said it will continue to engage and support government to go through the recently launched roadmap to ensure its members go back to work as soon as practicable. He said the time of idling and minding their own business is over, as the association will show leadership by self-regulating the small-scale mining industry.
That's why we have we call someone like the compliance officer. Those who have gone training, we've identified those who will be on the field and ensure that people go through the standards. They check on the field before the national monitoring team goes around. That one, we will be doing it internally. Then the state institution will also be doing their own thing, but we'll ensure that we collaborate with them so that mining will be done and it will be done properly.
Of more concern to them was the involvement of some politicians and traditional leaders in the illegal mining business.
So if you're a politician and you go in illegally, it's not because you're a politician the law will be different from your end. The association will ensure that we expose any politician or any traditional person who operates illegally or supports illegality in the mining space.
A roadmap towards the lifting of the ban has been criticized by many who see the timelines as vague. Dates for the various intended actions and completion dates many contend would have calmed nerves. The small-scale miners want the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining to speed up processes towards the lifting of the ban, as indicated in the roadmap.
And I watched the document carefully. It says those who are vetted will be allowed to go back and work. So once I've gone through and I've availed myself to the committee, and what we're also proposing that it shouldn't be political. People should not see it being a political venture where certain people will be favored and others will not be favored.
Government placed the ban on small-scale mining in June 2017 following widespread environmental degradation and pollution of water bodies due to the application of harmful chemicals such as mercury and cyanide.
An aspiring NDC flag bearer, Alban Backbin, has apologized for his late response to comments he made on persons with disability appointed to certain roles in government, which have attracted public backlash. At a news conference in Accra, the second Deputy Speaker of Parliament said his comments were taken out of context.
Alban Backbin said he was not apologizing because he made the comments that some persons who were appointed by former President Mahama were incompetent, but because of his late response and the fact that he should not have made such comments in public.
I want to take full responsibility for the indiscretion in going public with issues that should otherwise be private to the NDC. I have learned that such disclosure could raise emotions among some sections of the Ghanaian society. What I said was that certain wrong decisions were made in placing or assigning some government appointees. This wrong placement cost the NDC some votes.
The second Deputy Speaker of Parliament refused to accept his comments were attack on persons with disabilities as portrayed on social and traditional media, insisting he did not say those persons he mentioned were not competent to hold public office. He said a Backbin-led government would be committed to ensuring inclusiveness and could not have made such comments against persons with disabilities.
I have championed several bills and policies in Parliament to further the interests of persons with disabilities. I have also worked enormously with persons with disabilities, and I know their capabilities. Currently, I'm a patron of Reach of Disability Sports and Educational Foundation. I have also on countless occasions personally funded several programs and activities, including the provision of scholarships to persons with disabilities because of my endless affection for the marginalized.
The Nandoli Kalio MP, who is aspiring to lead the NDC in the 2020 elections, says he does not have any scores to settle with former President Mahama and assured the party of his support towards any of the aspirants who will be elected. He said he has already apologized to some persons who were offended and will continue to do so. Some physically challenged persons who were present at the news conference noted the Nandoli Kalio legislator over the years has been supportive of persons with disability.
We have some powerful evidence to prove to Ghanaians that Honorable is in love, that's the word I will use, with disabilities. And Honorable is in seriously disabilities development in this society.
Well, a former trade and industry minister and NDC flag bearer hopeful, Eko Spiogabra, says the corruption and incompetent tug on former President John Mahama would affect the party's chances in the 2020 general elections. He was speaking on 3FM's Sunrise Morning Show.
The word incompetent has become a popular word in Ghanaian politics. It was first used by the then running mate of the New Patriotic Party in 2016, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to describe the level of knowledge of the former president, John Mahama.
This government is very competent at creating, looting and sharing. This government is very competent at propaganda. This government is very competent at perpetuating doomsday.
Fast forward 2018 and the former trade minister, Dr. Eko Spiogabra, who is also aspiring to contest the party's primaries, says the incompetent tag put on former President Mahama, who intends to contend for the NDC's flag bearership, will destroy their chances in 2020.
And in the case of the flag bearership, cannot be accused by the MPP of either being corrupt or incompetent, which were the two main charges that the MPP leveled against us. They leveled many charges, but all those charges cluster around the two main words of incompetent and corrupt. If you ask NDC delegates who have asked from Ashanti region to Central region to Northern and Volta region, what did we say as NDC we will do for people of Ghana? 58 people in a room, 80 people in a room, 100 people in a room, and they cannot tell me or tell themselves what we said we were going to do.
You said you were going to continue.
Then I asked them, yeah, twaso. And so that people say, what does twaso mean? Are you going to twaso your alleged corrupt deeds? Are you going to twaso your alleged bus branding saga, your JIDAS and whatever it was that we were accused of. But when I asked the same delegates, what did MPP say they would do for Ghana? NDC delegates are able to recite what MPP said they would do.
Ecospio Gabra also implied the former president doesn't have enough global experience.
You must have practical experience, not just writing examination.
Nobody has that practical experience.
Not to my knowledge.
Including John Mahama.
Working in an advertising agency in Ghana, the second largest advertising agency in Ghana. That's where I started my career at the age of 21. By the age of 24, I was the general manager of that agency. Then going to the United States and working with the largest communications company in the world.
That's understood.
So those are the practical experiences.
Are you saying John Mahama himself doesn't have the practical experience?
Well, he will come and tell you what he has. I'm not here to
but you say all the people don't have.
Not my kind of experience. The track records are there, and everybody should go and sell their own message.
They don't have your kind of experience.
They have other experiences, and they'll go and sell it.
Not your kind of experience.
Everybody's unique. We have different thumbprints and different irises in our eyeballs, and so many things that make us all unique. So I sell my experience, and they also go and sell their own.
He, however, denied having said he would be the running mate to the former president, John Mahama.
Well, let's now turn to education, as the Coalition of Concerned Teachers has given government up to October 31 to pay its members their salary arrears on face and industrial action. In a communique issued after its national executive meeting in Tamale, the group indicated its full support for the double track system if only teachers are not shortchanged or overburdened without the necessary remuneration.
According to the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, government owed its 42,000 members across the country.
CCT Ghana will be left with no choice but to embark on an industrial action if this is not adhered to. This we will do even if only one affected person is not paid before the deadline of October 31, 2018.
On the licensing of teachers, the group asked the National Teaching Council not to rush but to be cautious in implementing the policy to ensure no teacher was disadvantaged in any way. The concerned teachers also requested the Director General of the Ghana Education Service to exempt its members from the GES SIC Life Group Insurance Policy as captured in an earlier letter dated August 14 by making it mandatory.
And the focus still continues on the late Busumuro Kofi Annan, and the Ghana Association of Former International Civil Servants has expressed condolence to the family of the late Kofi Annan. Members of the association, along with other diplomats and public servants, earlier signed the book of condolence in the respect of the late UN Secretary General Kofi Annan.
It was a solemn mood as members of the Ghana Association of Former International Civil Servants, diplomats, public servants and other members of the United Nations signed the Book of Condolence. Kofi Annan died on the morning of August 18, 2018 in Bern, Switzerland at the age of 80 after a short illness.
He's done his job, he's finished his work on earth, the laborer's task is over. Because if you look round, the amount of work that this icon has done, not only did he bring prosperity and peace and dignity and respect to Ghanaians, but to the entire African continent and to the whole world.
President of the Ghana Association of Former International Civil Servants, Andrew Kwabena Asamoah, noted Kofi Annan stood tall as a symbol of exemplary African leadership on the global platform.
Because when you are in the UN, you are working with over 150 nationalities, so it's not easy. So to be able to lead them in a calm way, honestly, and it impacted on us, even we the staff, because we were from Ghana, we were always associated with him. And in a way, it boosted our own status and possibilities in the organization. So
UN Coordinator for Ghana, Christine Evans-Clark, noted Kofi Annan had immense pride for Ghana.
I think he's very proud of Ghana. He's very proud of, was very proud of all of the success of Ghana and Ghana's leadership. The fact that His Excellency President Akufo-Addo was the the co-chair of the Secretary General's group of eminent advocates for the Sustainable Development Goals, and was the AU's gender champion. These recognize a lot of progress in Ghana, and that Ghana has a lot to share with the world, but it also shows that there's high expectations, that we can all improve. Yeah.
Assistant Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization, Buka Tijani, noted the programs and initiatives introduced by the late Secretary General should be further developed to his memory.
Being a UN Secretary General who came up from the rank and file within the UN, we see that really this is somebody who has contributed a lot to humanity. He has made Ghana proud, he has made Africa proud, and a lot of us are looking forward to the legacies that he has left behind.
Former United Nations Chief and Nobel Prize laureate Kofi Annan will be buried in Accra on September 13. May his soul rest in perfect peace. In some other news this evening, attacks on mobile money vendors in recent times have raised many security concerns, with some suggesting more stringent measures to regulate the sector. In the following report, Godfrey Tanam takes a look at suggestions and some measures proposed to keep vendors from attack.
The introduction of mobile money services in 2009 was welcome due to the opportunity it presented to the unbanked. Since then, huge figures have been recorded by the central bank and within the telecommunication companies as evidence of the high number of people engaged in the services. According to the Bank of Ghana, 2.3 billion cedis was recorded outside the banking system through mobile money operations as at the end of December 2017. The amount represents 84.6% growth over the December 2016 figure of 1.3 billion cedis. Mobile accounts reached 23.95 million compared to 11.43 million bank accounts as at the end of December 2017. With this impressive growth and the financial opportunities, it presented much more opportunity to the country's teeming unemployed youth. However, vendors are constantly being attacked by armed robbers. Banking consultant Dr. Richmond Tuahine is suggesting more stringent measures to streamline the sector.
Every time you're dealing with cash, especially cash, you are a high-risk business. So therefore, we need to have looked at security. But from what I've heard, they were just being licensed just like that. If you do what they have done, I think we need to go back to even relicensing them. That would entail even look at where do we position them, how do we train them, who do they work with.
He is of the view effective security measures should be incorporated in the approval of registrations of vendors.
Once you want to go into business, there are these hidden costs that you have to take it up. That's why you need to do re-registration, because then we are now going to segment them. Those who can afford basic security control measures, like your structures, how good it is, how the inside is, who comes in, who goes out. Currently, people go in and do business and it's not recorded. So if somebody come even there to see your businesses, he can come later in the day and see, because he knows that when you have cash, you keep it there.
At a lecture in Accra, participants expressed concern, suggesting measures to control the attacks in the sector.
You can have the money in your account, and then if you have your account linked, you can make use of moving money from your bank account to your mobile money wallet for you to be able to serve your customers.
Also, some discussion ongoing with the police in terms of some logistics we can deploy to some of our agents, saying that once they are attacked, they can press on some, saying that response team will also, start following. So there is some investment also into that area.
The mobile money service has become an essential part of the country's socio-economic system, and it has become imperative to safeguard the system by protecting everyone who matters in the chain.
Well, mobile money vendors' protection or safety is a conversation that's been going on for quite a while now. And indeed, police figures actually show that for the first quarter of this year, about 30 cases of attacks on mobile money vendors by armed robbers were recorded by the police. Just going to run you through and chronicle just some brief cases that involve these mobile money operators and robbers. Now, on February 18, 2017, we had 2 armed robbers attacked one Patricia Ajaleji, a mobile money merchant at Pentecost Junction at Tashaman. And fast forward to September 9, 2017, robbers arrested after attacking mobile money merchant at Ejisu in the Ashanti region, Femusia. On Saturday, 9th September, 12th of February 2018, a 31-year-old Richmond Ofori, also known as Papaya, was killed at Kronom Chirase in the Afija Kwabre district of the Ashanti region. You fast forward to as well, same this year, March 13, 2018, armed robbers were said to have made away with 4,000 cedis after attacking a mobile money shop at Taifa in Accra. In July 9, 2018, mobile money vendors at Ahonjo and Shaeso in Kumasi in the Ashanti regional capital also were attacked by some unknown persons. August 20, 2018, that's just about a week ago, the mobile money vendor was shot by 3 unknown men around the Iran clinic here in Accra, Asylum Down specifically. So this and many more cases of mobile money vendors being attacked by armed robbers, and the recommendation that they should be closing about 6 p.m. before darkness sets in later on in the evening. We'll also be exploring a lot more alternatives into this.
Absolutely, Alfred. Definitely worth considering. It's still live here on News 360. Let's now take a look at our MTN Vigil reports this evening as our citizen journalist Papa Kojo Nyako highlights the refuse along the road in La Paz in Accra.
This is La Paz in Accra, near Apankwa. These garbages have been here for a long period of time, and no authority or the authorities in charge of sanitation have neglected this part, and it has been here for the past 3 months. So I'm reporting so that the sanitation ministry can reorganize themselves and clean the city, especially Accra. Reporting from Accra, Papa Kojo Nyako, La Paz.
Well, grateful for that report there from Papa Kojo. Remember that you can also send your video report via WhatsApp number. It's 05514330044. That's 05514330044. You're watching News 360 all across the world. We're live on 3news.com. We've got the latest of business news coming up shortly. Stay with us.
You're still watching News 360. Good evening and thanks for staying with us. Let's do some business now with me, Nanikia Mensah-Brampa. Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investments Promotion Center, GIPC, Yofi Grant, has lauded efforts by the Bank of Ghana to sanitize the financial sector. He said the regulator has earned a positive image, thereby renewing confidence of investors in the sector.
Since the Bank of Ghana consolidated some 5 banks earlier this month, the Bank of Ghana has embarked on what it has termed the Eagle Project, aimed at cleaning up the financial sector and restoring confidence. Speaking on the effect of these developments on investment, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, said the GIPC is pleased with the banking sector reforms.
It's a very good thing. Ghanaians believe in the rule of law. It's one of our major selling points. And so for this to have happened and for the law to have taken action in a decisive way affirms our belief in the rule of law.
He stressed that a similar trend was observed last year after the collapse of Capital and UT banks. He noted foreign investors have been making inquiries into how they can fill the gaps created by the collapse of the local banks.
So for the investor, that gives them a confidence that, well, yeah, the law works in Ghana and people are not going to get away with running away with their money or this or that because the law will work.
The Investment Promotion Center, he said, is working to ensure that Ghanaians benefit the most from any investments that go into the sector. The Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, is a government agency responsible under the GIPC Act 2013, Act 865, to encourage and promote investments in Ghana, to provide for the creation of an attractive incentive framework and a transparent, predictable and facilitating environment for investments in Ghana. Nuang Falong, TV3.
Meanwhile, the centre has challenged foreign investors to name and shame any government official who demands bribes from them. And the Chief Executive Officer, Yofi Grant, who was reacting to accusations made by the Danish ambassador, said the centre will take action against any such officials.
At the inauguration of the Ghana Integrity Initiative Speak Up, Resist and Report Corruption in Accra, the Danish ambassador to Ghana, Tove Denwell, said Danish companies had complained about encountering payment of bribes termed as facilitation fees in doing business in Ghana. But the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, challenged affected companies to name and shame such officials.
The Danish business community, where the ambassador directly said one of the issues that come up when they discuss their problems is foreign companies being compelled to pay bribes in Ghana before they're able to do business. Have you had any direct complaints?
If somebody demands a bribe, you have the responsibility of reporting the person. We can only stop this if we ourselves are responsible enough to say somebody asked me for a bribe to do a certain business. And I disagree. And I says, I'm not going to pay you a bribe and I'm going to blow the whistle on you.
He said the embassy has not substantiated the allegation, though the center has requested for more information.
If I can't produce the person or the situation, how do I validate my claim? I will plead with the Danish business people and the Danish community.
So if they're able to give you specific examples, you can act on it?
Of course.
It is not the first time the Danish ambassador to Ghana has made such allegations. Last year, she alleged a number of Danish investors who wanted to do business in Ghana have had to rescind their decision due to bribery and corruption by officials of government agencies. According to the ambassador, the high incidence of corruption has led to the Danish embassy focusing on an anti-corruption plan that will allow businesses to work smoothly. Nuang Falong, TV3.
Now let's look at some activities within the banking sector. Universal Merchants Bank has signed an agreement for the maiden One District, One Factory project financed by a private sector institution under the government's flagship initiative. UMB will provide a $10.7 million credit facility to the Central Sugar Company Limited, a starch production factory at Prang in the Pru district of the Brunahafo region.
The factory, which will be producing starch in commercial quantities, will use cassava from their base in the Brunahafo region. Chief Executive Officer of UMB Bank, John Ewua, noted the starch production factory by Central Sugar Company Limited is the first in many to follow.
We trust and believe in the employment that this project is going to create in the Pru district of the Brunahafo region, the ramification or the cascading effect on the country's economy as a whole. We've been talking about changing the structure of our economy, and this project is living that structure because it's going to be export driven and it's going to bring in the much needed foreign currency.
The factory is expected to be completed in 18 months.
The disbursement plan will give the stage disbursements of the facility. The facility is going to be built under an EPC contract, that is both the engineering, the procurement and the construction will be handled by one entity under a turnkey project. So the borrower, the chairman of Central Sugar Factory, will just be walking into the factory when it is fully built with all the technical support that he needs to run the factory for the first few years.
The chairman of the Central Sugar Company Limited, William Zopong Bio, lauded UMB for the financial support.
For when the One District, One Factory initiative was announced by the government, I saw it as an opportunity to establish successful businesses to transform our economy by adding value to our raw materials. This will help provide numerous jobs for our people and help transform the local economy of fruit districts.
Minister of Trade and Industry Alan Chemantin outlined government support towards the program.
Once you are designated as a one district, one factory project, then it means that you can bring in all your machinery and equipment duty free. You would also enjoy a tax holiday of 5 years, and after 5 years, subject to verification, there's also an opportunity to renew it if it is found to be necessary to help you to survive. Beyond also these incentives, you can bring in your raw materials also duty-free.
Last year, UMB Bank pledged $100 million of soft credit to support government's One District, One Factory initiative.
Right, you're watching News 360. This is the business segments. Let's move on to aviation. And the accountable manager of Passion Air, Eddie Anan, says Passion Air is a customer-centered airline carrier and will be the game changer in the domestic aviation industry. And he made the statement at the launch of the airline here in Accra.
Launching the airline, Deputy Minister of Aviation, Kwabena Darko Mensah, indicated that government will continue to provide a supportive environment for domestic airlines to flourish.
Our expectation is to boost domestic operations by encouraging and supporting local airlines and entrepreneurs to set up strong private airlines that can fully utilize all the nation's route rights. We are proud to say that Passion Air is a product of this vision. A Ghanaian domestic airline led by an indigenous Ghanaian.
Accountable manager of Passion Air, Eddie Anan, is convinced Passion Air is in the country to stay. He gave the assurance to potential passengers that the airline operates on efficiency, professionalism, competitive pricing, and value for money.
We will make Passion Air the preferred domestic airlines in the country. The Eagle has landed, and it will separate the men from the boys. Indeed, life is nothing without passion.
Former Attorney General Marietta Brew Apia Opong underscored the impact of the airline in the areas of job creation, income, and the breaking of existing monopoly. She offered some advice to the management and staff of the airline.
Learn from the mistakes made by other airlines that fell along the way. Please do not repeat those mistakes. You cannot repeat the mistakes of these other airlines and expect a different outcome. Listen to your regulators and comply with the rules of the industry on safety, security, and customer care. I know you have hired staff already. However, the point needs to be made that you must hire the right people. Taking on the wrong staff could soon become a liability for the airline. Provide continuous training for the cabin crew to provide gracious service to customers. Customer experience will probably sell even more than any marketing strategy in place.
Passion Air will begin with 3 daily flights from Accra to Kumasi and will in the course of the year schedule round-trip flights to Tamale and Takrady from Accra.
And away from the aviation industry, Accra Brewery Limited has rewarded the last 3 winners of the Chale Wonshi Jama promo in Accra. The winners received 20,000 cedis cash each.
The Chale Wonshi Jama promo rewarded one lucky consumer with 20,000 cedis each from the 28th of May until the 12th of August. Others won instant prizes including 50,000 bottles of beer and airtime. Roger Norty from Greater Accra, Douglas Siam from Upper West, and Aneriba Zanga Atanga from the Upper East were lucky winners of the 10th, 11th, and 12th weeks. The promo during the World Cup gave Charlies the chance to come together and cheer their favorite teams. ABL's marketing manager, Ewefua Ado Itua, said Club Beer is immensely proud to be associated with the 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia.
We haven't invested this much money into a promotion of this nature, and we are very grateful for the fact that people continue to text in, people continue to purchase club over the period. And one unintended benefit is adding to Ghana's unbanked population. Because people needed to open bank accounts to be able to receive the monies, we not only continue to provide refreshments with our crisp and refreshing club beer, but we also contributed to Ghana's low banked population.
The winners shared their excitement when they were informed they had won for the week.
Well, when I had the call that, I've won this, 20,000 Ghana cedis, I didn't know. I thought, I said, wow. I didn't know my reaction. I didn't know whether to faint or to jump. I was so much excited, so I didn't know what to do to myself.
Was getting 20,000 easy. It's not easy. It's not just easy to come by it. I'm very excited for the reward, and I will encourage everyone to take clap, because if you take clap, you may also be a winner one day like me.
Welcome back to News 360. On the international front this evening, British Prime Minister Theresa May pledges £4 billion in support of African economies.
Theresa May has announced plans to boost Britain's investment in Africa after Brexit during her first trip to the continent as Prime Minister. In a speech in Cape Town, she pledged £4 billion in support for African economies to create jobs for young people. She will also visit Nigeria and Kenya during the 3-day trade mission. The Prime Minister's visit comes at a time that some analysts are still counting the cost of a possible no deal with the European Union against the backdrop of Brexit. Mrs. May said she wanted the UK to overtake the US to become the G7's biggest investor in Africa by 2022.
There's more news on International Front on 3news.com. We're back shortly with some entertainment news to stay.
Now let's do some entertainment news tonight on News 360. And Miriam Osei Ajuman, rapper Shankuma claims he introduced the Ekuyapim rap and not Pope Skinny as widely perceived. The rapper from a monochrome wants Pope Skinny to stop parading himself as the originator and give credit to who it is due.
I'm the founder and originator of Ekuyapim rap.
Shankuma and Pope Skinny have both laid claims to introducing Ekuyapim rap. Many music enthusiasts regard Hot Cake hitmaker Pope Skinny as a true originator, applauding him for blazing the trail. However, Shankuma, another rapper from Ekuyapim, has strongly contended the fast-growing perception.
For us to have a history, when you get a chance to be on radio, you have to, be honest with yourself.
Be honest.
When you are asked that question, who brought the thing? Oh, Shankuma and Adebayo. But along the line, I had to join with him and we were pushing it.
Shankuma noted he used to be in the same group with Pope Skinny in the early 2000s and deserves his share in the glory. He insisted it would be unfair and out of place for Pope Skinny to single-handedly lay claims to the Ekuyapim rap initiative.
Who was pushing it bigger? Oh, Abia, up to some point, for some reasons I had to slow down, and Skinny was pushing it way bigger. It doesn't mean say you're supposed to take Diaya Medeno from me. When you get an opportunity, why don't you even say both of us took the thing there? Right. But if you divert the whole thing and be like, I did this, I taught him how to do it. No, seriously. Okay. He can't teach me how to rap.
Speaking on Showbiz 927 on 3FM, the Ekuyapim rapper explained why he parted ways with Pope Skinny. After
SS, the first opportunity for us to be out there was to be on 4X Force album. It happened through Coded, then Abortion, because he knew Skinny. So it was like, Bright, I have this guy, he's now rapping with Shankuma, they are doing Ekuyapim. So what's up? And Bright was like, oh, why not? We are bringing you guys out after we are supposed to bring them out. So we're supposed to be on that album, both of us.
Right.
And then he went alone.
Well, let's still stay with music. Ghanaian musicians have been challenged to promote their works beyond the country's borders.
Time Ghanaian artists take promotional activities seriously beyond the shores of Ghana. They should challenge themselves and plan media tours and familiarize with the fan base that we have in those places. That's the best way we can solidify that audience.
On policies to regulate the industry, the situation in Ghana is very abysmal.
Shatawale, immediately Brenner Boy got on stage. Yay, excitement. All right, so I think that yes, collaboration counts. 2, we must push harder to make our songs popular on their radio stations. Yes, they have policies that they won't allow other people to penetrate or get into their market. In Nigeria, they were playing 70 for Nigeria, 30 for other foreign countries, including Ghana. Imagine, how do you compete?
But beyond the issue of power presence in other music markets, non-existent policies to protect local content was blamed as being responsible for the foreign domination of the Ghanaian media space.
It's difficult to break into our own market because the level of support that we give our own is not huge enough. But you see, Nigeria has decided to protect their own. They've decided to protect their own system. So let's protect what we have as well.
The music industry needs to sit up. I think that we are too laid back and we have our arms folded. They're just watching. We enjoy the little we have.
Well, that's about it for entertainment news tonight. There's more news on 3news.com. I catch you tomorrow on 3FM 92.7 with the Urban Blend. And Miriam Osei-Agyemang.
Thanks, Absolutely. Miriam. Yeah, Miriam. I want to say thank you so much for spending News 360 with us. My name is Alfred Okansi.
And I'm Natalie Ford. To visit our website, it's 3news.com. You can get some more news on there. Remember that news at 10 will simulcast on our sister station, 3FM 92.7. Thanks for watching. Have a pleasant evening.